Hello and welcome to the now 20th episode of the Bunker to Bunker podcast. A little bit of a milestone there. I like that. 20 episodes. It's been a great journey so far. Started back in June, and we just keep going with it. So yeah, welcome in again. We are at a weird moment in golf right now where there just simply isn't much going on. I mean, there's rumors, there's speculation about LIV, there's the Hero World Challenge. That's basically it until June, or excuse me, until January. Still thinking about June. So yeah, Josh, what do you have to say on this wonderful Monday morning?
Um, I went to the Eagles game yesterday, and it was pretty
Yes,
pretty nuts to be there in person. Probably an instant classic, maybe the game of the year in the
expensive,
NFL. So,
probably too. Yeah,
uh, uh, I have. It's nice to have some friends that have season tickets who want to take you. So,
of
on that
course.
front, it was fun. But yeah, we can just jump right into it.
Yeah,
Kind of like something I just added to the sheet is that the TGL was canceled that we kind of talked about
great
last
point.
week. Or I guess last couple of weeks, and there was a storm that just destroyed the SoFi arena, kind of like a bubble that they made, which sucks. And they kind of pushed it to 2025, so they kind of just you know built all this hype, did all this press conference. I'm sure that Boston Common Golf really, you know, looking back, spent all this money and attention on it, and then decided, and
Sure.
the TGL was like, oh, we won't go to 2025, so it's very unfortunate. I think
Yeah,
I think they could have built the arena and the technology stays safe again to play at some point this year. But I think ESPN with the TV and all the sports that they have, they just kind of didn't want just to start, I guess maybe in a season of, NBA and all that stuff going on. So they kind of just were like, let's just do this in 2025. So, um, I guess, you know, kind of sucks. But I'm sure that kind of maybe the players kind of are like a relief that this isn't going on, just to figure out like their schedules and stuff. Um, so I think it sucks, but I don't think it's like the worst thing that happened. I think it's kind of just like a to be determined thing. I'm not sure if you've any thoughts on it.
yes. I think it was more so just the network and ESPN itself requested it got moved back because you know how quickly things get built. I mean, you look at any golf tournament, any sporting event that is at one location, for a couple of days, then, they pack up and move to something else. I mean, they could have rebuilt that thing, maybe not in 56 days or whatever it was, but, give them 2, 3 months. That thing could have been, I guess 2 months is 60 days. Give them 3, 4 months, and that thing could have been up and running, similar to what it was before. But it's one of those things where if you look at like a sports calendar with ESPN, January is a pretty good time to start. I mean, you have the NFL playoffs, but there's none on Monday night, so you're not competing with that. But then if you bump it back into April, May-ish, well, then you're in direct competition with the NBA Finals, the NHL playoffs, which is on ESPN. So it makes sense why ESPN would be like, all right, let's calm it down. Let's just do it next year. So a lot of time for them to work out any potential issues. It stinks, as you said, but you know, I unfortunately think a lot of people will forget about it, and then all of a sudden, in like October of next year, like, oh, TGL, yeah, let's
Yeah,
talk about that again. So we literally might not hear a single word about it for the next like 6 to 8 months, which kind of stinks. But yeah, again, not the end of the world. We'll see it in 2025. Maybe it's for the better. Maybe they can iron out some issues and whatnot, or get more funding. Who
I,
knows? Not the end of the world.
I also think that they weren't really on schedule.
No, absolutely not.
I have
Of
this
course not.
stuff like they didn't have half the players weren't on teams. You have one team doing a press conference that was pretty cool, and all the other teams don't even have players on their teams. Like Tiger made, just owned like the last team, like
Hmm.
2 months beforehand. I also think that, and I think that like players didn't really know the travel schedule. Like they hired a guy who just main job was to like work around the schedules of players, but it didn't actually seem like they were actually on schedule to do any of this. So I think probably was like a mutual thing between the network and TGL just to push this at the 2025. So kind of a wait and see. But the second topic before we get into the headliner, is Jon Rahm going to live golf?
um, as you know, Jon Rahm is probably one of my favorite players out there. So I hope not, but it appears that is a potential. Now, the one thing that I've learned in the past year or so with the live golf rumors is don't it's the same thing in any sporting event where just rumors swirl, but these are so politically opposite where you have the PGA Tour and live, and these rumors are like crazy. Don't believe them until they happen is the best thing that I've understood. And I think it was Flushing Golf, or I don't remember the exact Twitter account name, but just out of the blue, just said, "Oh yeah, here's this report." Didn't even cite a single source. So again, not knocking their story, but again, it appears that could be a potential with the number of 600 million being floated out there. Unfortunately, it makes sense. I can see how someone would want to do that. I would do it for a tenth of that. But I won't really see until it happens. Is the best thing that I'd say about that. I know there are talks that he wants to change the rules or do something with the team format and then play with what was it, Sergio, David Puig, and one other, make an all Spanish team. So I don't know. Hope it doesn't happen per usual, but I guess we'll see. I think if you make it until the Masters without him signing for Live, then he's not signing. But you know, come January, February, if the rumors are still around there and he's not playing in these events, well, that's cause for concern in my book.
Yeah, my gut says that he hasn't agreed to anything, but he actually has had talks with
Oh
them,
yeah, I agree with
which
that.
is
Yeah.
like fine. So I think the rumors are like, true that he probably wants to change the league, which is fair. I mean, he's close with Phil, he's close with Sergio. It makes sense. And also like Rom has been like very connected with the live stuff, so I wouldn't be,
Hmm.
he could just maybe he knows something that he's like, I'll get the $600 million, and then this agreement actually happens, and then he just has $600 million. I think that's very tempting. But yeah, I think it's just a wait and see. I think that, um, I think if he go, if yeah, I think that if he doesn't go by the Masters, I don't think he goes. I think that's a good
Yeah.
over under. So maybe we'll like keep track of that for ourselves. But very interesting on that front. But the
Yeah,
headliner,
one more quick thing
yeah,
about Live. I don't know if you saw, I'm assuming you did, but there's a lot of what's the word? That or tension right now between the two with the Live promotional series or whatever you want to call it, their Monday qualifier or their Q school qualifier, whatever. Apparently there was a top 100 player, a major champion, this and that, all entered in that. And the PGA Tour is like, hold on, if said players do play in it, we're going to suspend you. So now we're back to literally day one of live golf, where it's just like this Western standoff where they're both aiming guns at each other and no one wants to fire first. So, building off of that, I don't know if you saw, but Bernard Wiesberger, who was on live, got relegated. I didn't even know you could get relegated, but he got relegated. I guess that's that's a thing now in live. He got
well,
relegated, and
Chase Koepka
because
got
he did
relegated too. Brooks' brother.
well. Yeah, yeah, he's not really good anyway, um but he didn't I think it was something like he didn't resign his DP World Tour membership, so he's just able to play again. So it's just like these really weird, it kind of feels like it's just, I mean, it is. It's just a bunch of lawyers just dealing it, duking it out in court or doing whatever you want to say, and just we don't know. So that should be interesting to see if this promotional series does have, I mean, of course it's going to happen, but if said top 100 major champion, whatever, actually plays in it, well, what happens to him? So, don't know. Should be
Yeah, but why
interesting to
would
see.
there's no reason for a big player to do that promotional event. So if it's a top 100 player who's won a major, it has to be some guy who's like 45 years old. It's
Could
like,
be.
why would Jon
Or,
Rahm
or,
play in it?
or
There's no reason.
no, it could be that, or it also could be, you look at how Live has never been designed to make money. That has been from the forefront. They are designed for
Yeah,
sport washing. You look at, they will throw out billions and billions of dollars, take billions and billions of dollars in loss just to say we have our own golf league. That has been, from day one, that has been how it's been designed. So it would not shock me. Again, why would Jon Rahm play in this? They could easily just say, you know what, we're signing Jon Rahm to Live, but he has to play in this. Doesn't matter where he finishes, but it's just to try and sell tickets. That would not shock me. They're crazy like that. They have no. Again, you saw I think it was in Chicago, Live Chicago earlier this year, and tickets were $1 on StubHub. People don't care about this golf promotion, but they're willing just to shell out hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars just because they can. So it wouldn't shock me if a Jon Rahm, or there's some other top 10 name who is reported to sign, or Patrick Cantlay. I know he lost his Goldman Sachs sponsor and this and that, and he's throwing his little tantrum per usual. Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if they're like, hey, you just have to play in this just so that we can generate some fanfare for you. That wouldn't shock me at all. So, don't know. That's something that I guess we'll just kind of see how it plays out.
yeah, pretty pretty wild stuff that I don't think like Live is just so irrelevant unless they sign a deal. Like I'm a golf nerd. I can't say I've watched more than like 45 minutes of Live. I just don't know where to watch it. So that's which is I think their main issue. But let's carry on. So the headliner, Tiger, Big Cat Woods is back, playing his Hero World Challenge at the Albany Golf Course. So quick course
Mm-hmm.
preview. It's a par 72, around 7,500 yards. They've been here for the last 8 years, and it's actually an Ernie Els designed course. So I think it could be challenging if the weather um, makes it challenging, but I think it's a relatively easy golf course. Kind of honestly like a networking event at this point with like how many golfers? Two, four,
Mm-hmm.
six, eight. There's like 20 golfers in it. So it's kind of more of a little fun tournament that obviously Tiger does for, I believe, his charity.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the main question that everyone's asking is, what should be the expectations for Tiger this week?
Well, the expectation in my mind is just watching him complete the tournament without any injury. And not the expectation. That is the hope. That is the hope. There is zero
Yeah,
expectation. If he goes out there and finishes in dead last, that's pretty impressive in my book. Again, it's kind of, I know we talked about it either last podcast or the episode before, that with the current schedule, this made sense for Tiger to play. As he should, values the PNC World Challenge playing with his son. So it makes sense for him to get in tournament shape by playing in this. So, you know, we could very well see him go out, play for 2 rounds, and go, this, something doesn't feel right, not ready, and withdraw. But, as a fan of the game and as a fan of him, you would just hope that he can put together just a complete tournament. That's just kind of the hope there. I don't think there's any expectation on if it's a top 10, a top five. Well, if there's 20 golfers, it's kind of funny. So I guess he's guaranteed a top 20.
yeah,
So that's great. But I just think I don't even want to say the expectation or I just think just the hope of most golf fans and Tiger fans is just to watch him put together a complete tournament with no injury concerns at all. I think that is the hope.
yeah. I definitely agree. I mean, you know, from my from last year from watching, I think it's a relatively flat golf course, so it's an easy walk
Mm-hmm.
for him.
Yeah.
Here, he already has to be there, so why not play?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in his head he's like, maybe I have to play, put, viewers' eyes on this, you know, if there is some sort of Live versus PGA. So, which is, Jon Rahm isn't playing in this if you want another
Mm-hmm.
storyline.
Yeah.
But, a Rory McIlroy doesn't play in this. I don't think he's played in it in a pretty long time. So, yeah, it should be a little fun thing. I think there's really no, like, I guess in his mind, like, he's already played in tournaments and then quit or withdrawn due to
Hmm.
injury. So there's really nothing for him to really lose in this. If he, let's say he plays, two like rounds and like he like can't play anymore, it's like kind of what I wouldn't be shocked. I also wouldn't be shocked if he played all like 4 rounds. So, you know, he's a determined host. Why not give it a go? So we also have Will Zalatoris, who's back. He had a microdiscectomy in April. We saw him at the Players in March last time, and then he withdrew from the Masters. So I think he's kind of the second headline of like, what do we expect him? Like what, like how, if is his swing any different? I think last time he tried to change his swing to kind of help with his back, so I think that's something to watch out for. Any thoughts on Zalatoris at the Hero World Challenge?
Yeah, so it's kind of along the same lines of Tiger in the fact that coming off an injury, you just want to see said player just put together a complete tournament. And coming off of long layoffs for both. But Zalatoris specifically being that it was a back issue, I guess this is very similar to Tiger. He's very young, so it hopefully won't be, as affecting of an injury. But
Yeah,
you just want to see him put together a clean tournament, no hiccups, no issues. But at the same time, being as good of a ball striker and as far as he hits the ball, it really wouldn't shock me if he went out there and placed like a top five. That again, we're dealing in a field of 20, so it's not like
yeah.
a top five. It's like this insane result, but I think I would probably confidently say that he's probably going to put together a good week because you look at your entry list here, and with no disrespect to the other players, but a lot of them look at this tournament as a free check. And going back to your point before, like, oh, there's no Rory, there's no Jon Rahm. Well, yeah, that's a storyline, but those guys have so much money that they don't need this free check. I'm not saying like Victor Hovland or Scotty need this money, but they're just those kind of players who want to go play, who want to show off for the fans. So I don't think it's a storyline at all that Rahm and Rory aren't there. But I could look at someone like Will Zalatoris who treats this like a genuine tournament, who treats it like not like just to go out there have fun, all that. Like treats it as a genuine thing and actually tries to perform to the best of his ability. Obviously, all the players will, but I think that especially coming off an injury, this is like a good marker for how his 2024 season will go. What kind of performance can he put out here coming off a long layoff? Is there going to be any cause for concern? Is the swing different? Is anything obscure about his game since the injury? And I think that this is a great low risk, high reward tournament to test it out. If it sucks and you finish 20th, well, you get a really good check. If it, that kind of thing. So.
hmm Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think for him, it's just like getting those competitive juices flowing, as you said. See how his golf swing, see how he kind of compares to the others who are the best of the best in the entire world. So, definitely cheering
Mhm.
on Zalatoris and hopefully he can get back. Be healthy, no setbacks going into the January swing. But I guess a couple more storylines is that Hovland is trying to go for his third straight Hero World Challenge. I'm not looking at the odds right now, but I presume he has to be the favorite if he's won, you know, the last two events and had the year that he had, especially
Mhm.
like the Ryder Cup. So I think we'll see if he can carry on his Hero World Challenge
His hero play. His
legacy.
hero play.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and I guess I don't think they would do this bet, but since it's only 20 players in the fields, also you can bet on who wins. But I feel like I guess it'd be funny if they had a bet was like who comes in last place, and maybe like take out Tiger, because like there's a lot of guys that will be like really rusty in this. Like Jordan Spieth hasn't played competitive golf since like the Ryder Cup. He just had a kid. He has two kids now. He's not playing in the PNC next or in 2 weeks that he played last year with his dad. So definitely spending time with family beforehand. But like I think that would be a kind of like a fun thing to kind of say. So maybe like excluding Tiger, who's someone that you think that could be rusty in this and and potentially come in last?
Well, this again, this I have a name on here that I looked at and just like this would be the person I'd probably pick last. I don't know if it's like a popular pick, but I just think it's so funny the world that we live in that Sepp Straka is involved in a field like this. I really do. I just think that is so funny and so great at the same time. So he would be my pick to finish last. Nothing against the guy. I'm actually a huge fan of him. When I was out at the 2019 US Open at Pebble Beach, I actually watched him hit a shot from a porta potty, which was just a hilarious video. No idea who he was before. I'm like, oh, that's kind of fun. So pretty cool career trajectory to get here now. But 23rd in the world, playing in the Hero World Challenge. Sorry, Seth, but I'll put you down for my last place bet. I think that's what I'll do.
So did you see Foreplay play Wyndham Clark in their four-man scramble, but it was a three-man scramble?
I haven't yet. It's on my list of things to do. So don't spoil it. But I probably seen the result before. But
Well, that's my pick to come in last. So if that really
okay, so Wyndham
gives
Clark.
you
Okay,
anything, I mean, in all honesty, like he said it on camera. He's like, I have not. I mean, basically when he was playing, he was like, this or that, but he was basically kind of saying like, yeah, like I am really rusty. And when I kind of made that question, I was like, Wyndham Clark might come in last place. So, nothing against Wyndham, but I kind of saw it on camera.
yeah.
Not sure when that was
Hmm.
filmed, but I presume it was filmed in like the fall, and he was not looking the sharpest like a U.S. Open champ
Well, yeah,
that
he
he
he didn't
was.
look the sharpest at the Ryder Cup either. Like, let's be honest, he didn't look good at the Ryder Cup. And I guess one last thought about the Hero World Challenge. Why is Lucas Glover in this field? Do we know? I know it's a tournament exemption, but what did he deserve to be exempt? Justin Rose makes sense. What does Lucas Glover
He's
deserve
on
outside of the
he's
wins?
on he's on the TGL.
That would explain it. Okay,
I mean,
that works.
and maybe he wanted to be on like the Ryder Cup team and didn't thought he should have made it, which he shouldn't even have been considered anyway. So maybe that's why he's on there.
Yeah,
But
it just seemed out of
um,
place. It just seemed out of place.
which
Um,
I also do you know who's caddying for Tiger? Is it Charlie or Lacava or
I've ooh, because the Kava is with Cantlay right now.
yeah, but Cantlay's not
That's a
playing.
great question. I wonder if Joey might see. I've always been interested, maybe a or future guest in the podcast, about talking to a caddy about how frequently, not how frequently, but if they are able to switch bags when their designated player isn't playing in a certain week. Because that's always an interesting topic of conversation when you have someone like I don't know. Joey doesn't need the money, but most caddies need the money. So if your player is off a week
Well,
and another player plays, can they just freely go take it, or is there a contractual obligation to only be with this player?
so are you talking about just 1 week? Or are you talking about like a month or two?
No, one week. I'm talking about like let's say again, morally it's not right, but let's say player A misses the U.S. Open, and the caddy, that player's caddy can go to the U.S. Open and caddy for player B. Is that fine, or since he is contracted to player A, is that not fine? I don't know if that makes any sense. It's an
From
interesting
what
thought.
I have listened to and read, I think it's just based on the player's judgment. So I think there probably is
Yeah.
a contract,
Hmm.
but if you're a nice player, I feel like you're just like, yeah, like go,
Go
go
get the
make
money.
your
Yeah, exactly.
10%. I guess Kisner's a different story. Like he was out for a while, and then Dewey gets on Straka's bad, which I'm not sure if Dewey is on Straka's bag for the long haul, or is he back with
Uh huh.
Kisner? I'm not sure. Kisner played in some fall events. I'm not sure
Hmm.
who who was caddying for him. Maybe if Dooley is on Straga's bag for the future, maybe Frankie, Trent, or Riggs gets the caddy for Kevin Kisner. Who
That'd be
knows? But
terrible. That'd be terrible.
um,
Oh my gosh.
I think I forget. Didn't JT have someone? Didn't Bones caddy for JT? Oh no, Bones caddied for Fitzpatrick once or twice.
It's weird.
When
You'll
because
see random stuff like that where players will, especially on the senior tour, when you'll see Joey go down and caddy for, was it Fred Couples? Not Fred Couples. My gosh, he's so old. Uh,
it
it was
was
someone on
probably
the
Fred
senior
Couples.
tour. It
It
probably was
it
Fred
probably was
Couples.
Fred
Yeah,
Couples because he caddied for
yeah,
Fred
it was.
Couples forever.
It definitely was.
But
It
no,
de-
I think Fitzpatrick had Bones caddy for a couple weeks because I think his caddy was overseas and couldn't get back over because of COVID. But
hmm
that's COVID.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, let's definitely if there's any caddy that wants to come on, let us know. But final thought before we hop off is the PIP. So the PIP
Sure.
is basically the player impact program, which the PJ gives out a lump sum of money. It's $100 million pool to 20 players, basically a popularity contest. So if you have a positive impact or interest to like the PJ Tour, you get a certain amount of money. I think it's based on social media, probably clicks, Google searches. Basically, is your name, around like the internet, basically. And by no surprise, number one was Rory, number two was Tiger. So, and then follows like the big uh, names of people. But we had PJ Tour player Nate Lashley um, basically bash the whole program and said that, would love to hear from golf and PJ Tour fans if they think that the 100 million was spent well. There's around 150, 200 members of the PJ Tour, and they just spent 100 million on the top 20 players. Seems a little ridiculous. And then he goes on to bash that there should be a new leader of the PJ Tour. So, initial thoughts on Nate Lashley, kind of um, jealous that he's not getting a couple of $1 million for free.
So the PIP is a very weird program in a sense that it is a popularity contest. I mean, that is very proven how they structure it. It is a popularity. If you That's why Max Homa, what is he on the list? 10th.
10th.
Wow, he's only 10th. Um, but it does bring up the question of, okay, you take these 20 golfers who got this money who are all well off financially. What if you took that 100 million and helped out the players who are, 150th, 200th, 300th in the world who struggle every single week or yearly just to make it from event to event to pay their expenses? It brings up that argument of, I guess it's the same thing with taxes, and we're not going to dive into it because political stuff is terrible to talk about. But the rich get richer, and the people who could potentially need the money don't. So it's a very interesting thing. The thing that I think is the funniest about Pitt is on the official statement here. It says the PGA Tour administrators, the Player Impact Program, and the results are certified by Grant Thornton. I just think that's so funny that they probably pay Grant Thornton a stupid amount of money. I mean, I guess Grant Thornton's a sponsor of the PGA Tour, so maybe it's a
Yeah.
handshake deal or whatever. But they certify the results of this. I just think that's ridiculously funny. And the last thought is, how is Joel Damon not on this list? I mean, the star of Full Swing, hilarious guy on social media. How in the heck did he not, like, Brian Harmon at 20th? Like, huh? Like, it's just kind of shocking that someone of his caliber didn't even make the list. So,
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it from like both sides of it. The low level
mm,
players can complain that they don't have a chance at this. A, true, but B, the reason why these purses went up this year was because of these top players. And if these
sure.
top players don't play in it, those purses go away. If this whole 20 player list leaves for Live, and if a Nate like Lashley is like a top 20 player on tour, there no one's sponsoring Nate Lashley, who's a top 20 player, if he becomes that based on players leaving.
Mm,
Um, so there's two ways to think about it. I think it's ridiculous that Tiger is on this. I love Tiger, but I mean, he doesn't play. So I
mm,
think you can make some sort of rules, but I think that you also have to understand that they work for the PJ Tour, but individual contractors at the end of the day. So you have to build your own brand. And I think this goes back to, the whole like YouTube golf thing is that Grant Horvat said that he thinks that, which I think is a little premature, but he said in the next 5 years he could see YouTube golf being more popular based on viewership and views and however than the PJ Tour just as a whole. So, we have Bryson who's kind of growing his own channel, which I think is smart. I think that players are, and now the sponsorships of, Callaway and TaylorMade are really going at the social media side of things with these groups of YouTube and just in general. So I think that this should kind of just, I think for the, a Nick Hardy, the Bentley Griffins, like I think that those guys have to build their own brand off the golf course. And I think that I've thought of kind of some things, if we can try to, make this more a business thing, try to grow this as much as we can. Because if you have a platform, you have value for anyone. So I
Of
think
course.
it's a weird program, but I think for Nate Lashley and those guys, he has to be like, how do I grow my own personal brand? Start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I don't know. Start a podcast. There is no player podcast, which I think is, you have Smiley Coffin, who's like the only one from a player. You have the Colt Nose does it. But there's a market for a player,
Hmm.
maybe like a Michael Kim who tweets out, what's the harm in that you Sunday night you post a podcast about the tournament and you give the ins and outs. And I've honestly really thought about this. I haven't told you, but like there is such a market for that, and I don't know
Of
why.
course.
Like why doesn't Max Homa do a podcast with with so and so? Maybe not one of us because we're so small in this. But if you just do a podcast once a week, you talk for 30 minutes and you hire someone to like cut shorts and stuff, you have that entire market.
Mhm.
NFL players do it, NBA players do it. So maybe for Nate Lashley, if you want to, join the Bunker to Bunker podcast, that's my kind of
Open
testimonial to you.
invitation. Come hang. Let's do it
Michael,
every Sunday.
yeah, like Michael Kim, you can give the ins and outs. There's so many stories that these guys have that don't come
Yeah.
out. So I think some of these players, I mean, these top 20 players don't need to actually like do it. But, if you have a good personality, I don't know why they're not doing it. So maybe
Yeah.
someone will see this and start, but if you want us to be a part of it, let's do it.
We will be a part of it. We will be a part of it. We have
Yeah.
to. The original idea. So yeah. Any final thoughts or anything?
No. Um, it's, January 1st will come around the corner that it's the century, but, we have Hero World, Grant Thornton, so that's the LPGA, PGA Tour. I think that'll be pretty
And
cool.
then the PNC. Yeah.
PNC, Tiger and Charlie, Christmas, and then we have the century. So time's flying by. It's already
It is.
December on Friday, so not to scare
Cool.
anyone, but Cyber Monday, so get your gifts and yeah, let's get ready for January.
Yeah. Where can I buy that bunker to bunker hat? Should we release those yet? Maybe some holiday shopping. Some
Cyber Monday,
festive
yeah.
things.
I mean,
Cyber
I can
Monday.
sign this.
Yeah.
I'll sign this. Maybe do like a little giveaway. That would be really funny if I did that on Twitter.
That would be fun.
Cyber Monday,
Would that?
Cyber Monday deal. Hand this out for free. I'll pay for shipping if anyone wants a Josh Siegel signed hat. And then it's like Jeff Eisenband is like the one is like, oh yeah, I'll take it.
Wouldn't that
I'm
decrease
sure
the
Justin
value of
would.
the hat if you signed it though?
Hey, people have been making money off me, so
Yeah,
make their hobby,
maybe
baby.
maybe some merchandise giveaways for the holidays. You never know. Well, maybe it's in the future. That'd be fun. That'd be a
Looking
lot of
back,
fun.
we probably missed on that, but it's okay.
Yeah, we can do it. We can still do it. So, yeah. Well, thank you as always, everyone out there listening to us, or for the continued support. As Josh said, we are not slowly, fastly approaching the start of January with events every single week. Right now, just a little bit of a weird time for golf, but we'll still be here. We'll still be talking about it. So continuously join, listen in, and we will see everyone next week.